the UC Davis Humanities Institute. And I'm actually filling in for Stephanie Maroney, who was going to be giving this presentation, who wasn't able to be here today. And Stephanie is our Mellon Public Scholars Program manager, and she also runs our PhD Unlimited series. So I'll talk about both of those briefly. The Mellon Public Scholars Program introduces graduate students to the intellectual and practical aspects of identifying, addressing, and collaborating with members of a public through their scholarship. The program combines interdisciplinary cohort learning, graduate level training in theories and methods in public scholarship, and faculty mentorship to carry out a community-based summer research project. Each student takes a spring seminar, receives a $7,500 stipend and supplemental project funds, and returns in the fall to present at our Scholar Showcase. Just some facts: since 2016, the program has supported 68 graduate fellows, 67 faculty members, and 60 community partners from around the world. Of the 17 fellows who have since completed their PhDs, all have moved on to impactful careers within and beyond the university as researchers, faculty members, administrators, teachers, program and policy analysts, and community advocates. The call for proposals for the 2022 cohort will go out in mid-November, and I can answer some more questions about the program afterwards. Secondly, our PhD Unlimited series is a monthly professional development workshop series specifically for grad students in the arts and humanities, but open to everyone who wants to come. We curate events through the series that feature a range of expertise by working with campus partners such as the Internship and Career Center, Grad Pathways Institute for Professional Development, the Center for Educational Effectiveness, Strategic Communications, Interdisciplinary Research Services, the Feminist Research Institute, as well as arts and humanities faculty, graduate students, and our own DHI talent. Last year, of course, the series moved online, but the result of which is you can actually view the 2021 series, Silver Lining with the Pandemic, on our YouTube page. You can also view all our programs on our YouTube page from last year. This year will continue online, but supplement with some limited in-person workshops, all scheduled from 12 to 1 p.m. This winter, we're especially excited to offer a two-part podcasting workshop, an orientation and a hands-on workshop. So stay tuned for that. And upcoming PhD Unlimited programs are on October 19th, Publicly Engaged Research and Mellon Public Scholars, with Stephanie herself presenting. On November, these are all on Tuesdays at noon. Tuesday, November 16th, Crafting Your Graduate School Story for Employers. December 14th, Grant Writing 101. January 25th, Podcasting the Humanities Part 1. And February 22nd, Podcasting the Humanities Part 2, which will be the actual workshop part. So that just gives you a sense of our PhD Unlimited series. And then lastly, there are just other campus resources here at Davis for grad students looking to explore career options. At the Internship and Career Center, there are counselors who meet individually with PhDs and postdocs to develop their career plans and review job materials. They also sponsor career fairs and career treks to employment sites in the region. And then there's the newly formed Grad Pathways Institute for Professional Development, which offers a range of workshops on core competencies like teaching, writing, professionalism, and career management. They also run two project-based leadership programs. And they're piloting a micro-credentialing program to facilitate, recognize, and celebrate all areas of graduate student and postdoctoral scholar professional development at UC Davis. That was a mouthful. Okay, so I'm happy to answer more questions at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. There's so much going on. And I just wanted to say that this information will also be available in the Google Doc after we're done. So actually, Giulia Hoffmann from UC San Diego was not able to join us. So actually, Erin Nerstad is next.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Sujin, for having me here today. So as I mentioned, I'm the Associate Director for the Interdisciplinary Humanities Center at UC Santa Barbara. And we run through our center a program called the Public Humanities Graduate Fellows Program, which is an opportunity for humanities and humanistic social science PhD students to receive training and experience in being a publicly engaged scholar and or pursuing careers beyond academia. So our program is really meant to train students wherever they would like to end up within beyond para academy. And we currently have 35 students participating in our program from across all the disciplines, which is a really exciting feature of it. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the program components. There's 3 components. The first is coursework. So we have 2 graduate seminars. One is in the history and theory of public humanities, which provides all the background on how did public humanities begin? What are different practices of public humanities? We get into a little bit about the UC system as a land grant institution, actually, and so really thinking about where we're coming from, where we're going, what are the public humanities. We also have a skills for the public sphere course, which I teach and which I love, in which we have different units on, a lot of them have to do with communicating for the public, learning how to build a website, run a social media campaign, write op-eds. We also have units on career exploration, writing your resume and cover letter. And we also have units on what are nonprofits, how are they run, what is it like to work with community partners, working on your own leadership skills and things like that. So it's a really empowering course and I love it. We also have opportunities to gain practical experience. So students do that in either the form of a summer internship or a fellow design community project. So our internships, we at the center create those with our community partners, nonprofits in Santa Barbara and also down to LA so far. And those have a stipend and generally take place over the summer, but our fellows do things like work with the communications teams in nonprofits, work on development work, grant writing. And then the second option for what we call the practicum is for fellows to design their own project with a community partner that they establish. And these are opportunities to more closely leverage a fellow's disciplinary background and specific academic training. So we have people who, for example, have training in linguistics, work with local speech language pathologists, and people working using their GIS technology background to work with the local Red Cross. So that's another really exciting component of the program that enables fellows to create their own project. And then the third component is a capstone presentation, which is just a presentation of the fellows' work for a public audience. And so the program really is designed to provide not only the skills, but a lot of opportunities for reflection on the work that we're doing and what it is to be a public humanist and where we might go with these tools in the future. So we also run a few other public humanities programs out of our center to provide other avenues of experience for our graduate students. We run a Foundations in the Humanities Prison Correspondence course, which has participants throughout the California state prison system. And we have an interpreting in our local schools program as well. So our center is really focused on providing graduate students with opportunities to do engaged work during their careers. And I would say my one piece of advice to graduate students in attendance is just to get experience in small or large ways, volunteer short-term, long-term, just to I know it's hard because we're so busy in graduate school, but experience kind of snowballs. And so one, even small, organizing a conference or helping to run a group gives you that little bit of admin experience and maybe event planning experience that could build on one thing or another. And find your passion, find a local nonprofit that works with that and say, hey, how can I help you? So that's my advice.
Thank you so much, Erin. And this is when I realized that I actually didn't organize the list in alphabetical order, but we'll just kind of proceed in the list that I had sent out to everybody, if that's okay. So next we have UC Santa Cruz. We have Saskia Nauenberg Dunkell speaking, and I'll share the screen right now.
Great, thanks so much, Sujin. And it's wonderful to hear about these opportunities at other campuses as well, and gain some inspiration and think about also areas where we overlap, and there's some similarities too. So I'm the research program manager at the Humanities Institute for a Mellon-funded Expanding Humanities Impact in Publics project. And this supports graduate student success as well as public humanities programs. So I can put a link in the chat as well to our website for the Humanities Institute. We're a hub for directions in humanities research and teaching, cross-discipline collaboration and public engagement. You can read more about all of our programs at phi.ucsc.edu. But today I wanted to highlight 3 ways we support humanities doctoral students envisioning their career futures. So I'll start by talking about our public fellowships. We offer a number of funding opportunities, but in particular, the public fellowship program allows students to partner with organizations off campus. We have both summer opportunities, and thanks to funding from the Mellon Foundation, we have year-long support in which we meet with we select 3 fellows, and we meet throughout the year to reflect on their positions and talk through the learning that's going on. So all of our public fellowship, both the summer and year-long, are opportunities to connect academic scholarship in the humanities to projects in the community in mutually beneficial ways. So students gain firsthand experience learning about positions outside of the academy that build from their studies in the humanities and afford them professional experience, while organizations benefit from students' assistance. And students have contributed to research, programming, communications, and other activities. For example, we've had literature students who've worked as editorial assistants in the publishing industry, feminist studies students who've preserved materials at a social justice archive. And we've had a linguistics students this past year who supported with language materials at a Oaxacan community organization. So just a really range of different types of positions. And this has been tremendous for students. We actually had one of our students as well who presented during the grad slam portion on his experience doing work as well. So that's our public fellowship program. And then we have a PhD Plus series, which is our monthly workshops to expand graduate student training for scholars in the humanities and related fields. So it's focused on the humanities, but we actually have graduate students from across campus that attend these sessions, as well as some faculty members. These are monthly workshops, and they cover a range of topics. We've had everything from sessions on grants and fellowships to podcasting in the humanities, social media and scholarly practice, as well as sessions on academic publishing. And then I think the last piece I wanted to highlight is just some of the other ways we support professional development, and we've tried to foster leadership opportunities. So I think something that's kind of exciting that we've begun to do last year and we're doing this year is to have some of our PhD students also lead these PhD Plus sessions as a sort of peer-to-peer learning. So last year we had a PhD Plus on impassioned online teaching, which was led by students who received a fellowship to attend a virtual residency at the National Humanities Center. And it was really successful and attended by both students and faculty who gained a lot from the session. And this fall, we're working with students on a PhD Plus about Humanities Without Walls, based on their experience at the summer program as fellows. So we've been building a lot of our peer mentorship programs. We also have an opportunity for graduate student instructors to teach their own class. And we have a training for peer mentors who have taught their own class to then support the next GSIs. And so these are other sort of leadership programs that we are building. And we create some positions at the Institute itself for grad students to work on communications and research development. So I wanted to highlight these 3 areas, and I'll pass it to my colleague at UC Santa Cruz to talk some more about what we offer at the Career Center.
Sure, I will be incredibly brief because I want to be mindful of time, but the key thing for us is just to know that we are here to support our grad students. So I know that sometimes it can feel like career centers are predominantly focused on undergraduate students, but that is a concerted effort of ours to focus on how we provide the particular support as you think about, do I want to head into the academy? What might I be interested in if maybe I'm not interested in entering the academy, or I'm looking to have a variety of options as I approach graduation. So I encourage you, if you are at UC Santa Cruz to come visit us to chat. We're doing a professional development series, a communication series this fall in partnership with our grad division, where we're providing a number of resources and workshops to really talk through preparing your materials and how to translate CVs to resumes and vice versa as you think about what you might want to have come next for you. But my piece of advice is just come chat with us, right? We're happy to talk through options. Many of us have gotten doctorates and understand what it's like to potentially go through that process and understand the decisions between staying in the academy or leaving and what that looks like, particularly in the humanities. So yeah, that's all I'll say for now. Happy to answer questions after.
Thank you. Next, we have folks from UCLA. So take it away. I think, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Erin Brown, and I work at UCLA's Graduate Career Services. For those who didn't catch my introduction earlier, it's really appropriate that I followed right after you at UC Santa Cruz, simply because I want to echo the same message that we really offer at Graduate Career Services, a comprehensive package of services to support our graduate students. We have dedicated people specifically for humanities and social science PhDs, both for our one-on-one coaching and then for a lot of our workshops and events. I think right now, probably the best thing to know, on the Google Doc, we've given you a lot of resources about how you can access everything from how do I start looking for a career outside of academia, to how do I build a resume, to how do I negotiate with an employer. Know that we offer some really great workshops. They're not posted yet, but they will be shortly. This fall, we're going to be offering our very, very popular career conversations again. And those are 1 hour a week. We're going to run one that is Career Planning 101, specifically for our PhDs and postdocs. And it takes you through every step of the process in a week by week, hour long, join us for lunch. We're going to talk about this format. And then we're also doing an academic job career conversation on Tuesdays that will take you through every one of the job documents and talk you through how to get ready for your academic job interviews. So just like UC Santa Cruz, we're doing that whole comprehensive package. I did want to point out a couple of other things that we have going on campus that I think are really exciting. We didn't have our digital humanities program here today, but I think our graduate certificate in the digital humanities is probably one of the most exciting initiatives we have for PhDs in the humanities to move beyond academia. It's a 1-year-long program that is a series of courses that leads to you building your own digital portfolio. It's very project heavy. So everything you're doing feels really applied to the outside world. Oftentimes you're partnering with employers outside of campus to build your digital humanities package. So I did want to recommend the digital humanities certificate through the digital humanities program. Last but not least, I wanted to mention what I think is probably the strength of UCLA's Graduate Career Services, and that is our emphasis on building professional relationships, both within and beyond academia. We have an amazing group of alumni. In fact, I'm going to say Saskia is one of our alums. We're super proud of her moving beyond academia into the position she holds now. But we have amazing alumni who are willing to come back to campus. And a big part of what we do at Graduate Career Services is facilitate those relationships so that you can talk to people just like you who grappled with the same questions and moved beyond academia, or moved into really interesting jobs within academia. And I think that leads to my big point on what we recommend most for our students, and that is PhDs in the humanities, you all are unicorns. You know, we are, PhDs in America alone are less than 1% of the population, right? And when we subtract out all of the STEM and social science PhDs, we're way less than 1/2 of 1%. So understand that there are a lot of jobs out there that employers don't know PhDs are great for. And the best way to figure out where those jobs are and what those jobs are like is to talk with people like you who have PhDs in the humanities who've gone before you. So that's something that we really emphasize in our program, is building those professional relationships, building them while you're in graduate school, and then leveraging those relationships as you move beyond academia. With that, I'm going to hand it to Barbara, because Barbara's going to talk about one of our signature programs that's all about networking. Barbara.
Hi, everybody. I'm Barbara Van Ostrin. So I work in the Division of Humanities. We don't have a Humanities Center here. So I work with the Dean on Academic Programs and Student Affairs. And one of the programs I was going to talk about, I think I copied and pasted it. I'll put it in the chat because it's actually open to everybody, is the Los Angeles Review of Books Publishing Workshop. It's a summer workshop happening every year by the Los Angeles Review of Books. And our division partnered with the folks at LARB to actually provide tuition and a stipend to grad students to attend this workshop. I know some other UCs have partnerships with Los Angeles Review of Books as well. They have a lot of UC people who do attend this. And basically it's to increase awareness, diversity of publishing. And so they bring in an amazing amount of people, small, big, people who publish. They have supplemental workshops. They have an alumni network. And a lot of the times people who go through that, at least our fellows who've gone through it, will end up doing book reviews or editorials, and their first publishing is at Los Angeles Review of Books, right? So it kind of is a pipeline to get into that kind of writing as well. So I think it's been really important for our students to take part in that, not only to get publishing experience that might help them in academia and outside of academia, but also to get those connections if they want to become a publisher or work in the publishing industry. So take a look at that workshop. If any other programs, want to create a relationship with LARB, we happy to connect you, but the grad students definitely take a look at that. And thank you all.
Great, thank you so much. Next we have Dorie Perez from UC Merced.
Hi there, I'm Dorie. I'm from UC Merced. I'm formerly a graduate student of UC Merced, so it's been wonderful to keep my connection to the campus. Right now, I'm the staff associate for the Luce initiative funded by the Henry Luce Foundation through the Center for Humanities here on campus. The center itself has had a programmatic arm that focuses on public-facing opportunities for scholars, both graduate students and faculty, including an op-ed workshop, as well as different publishing workshops with UC Press to develop those relationships. Additionally, the Luce Foundation initiative on campus has been focusing on graduate education as it relates to collaborative efforts in the Merced area. Last year, we had our first summer institute with 8 different fellows, both faculty and graduate students, who worked on smaller projects, summer-long projects. And some of that can be found on our UC TV channel, Critically Human. That's a new soft launch that's being developed that highlights kind of the visual element of some of this research. We all know translating research, especially qualitative research, to kind of digital means or visual means can be quite difficult. If you've ever had to design a humanities-based poster for a workshop, you know that there is a constant struggle. So this is an exciting medium for humanities research. And then the Luce Foundation is funding an additional cohort of scholars that are going to be applying in October. A little bit of a different format this year, where 2 faculty fellows will have kind of umbrella projects for graduate students to join them, kind of further creating those collaborative, community engaged research projects in the Central Valley. So I'm just so pleased to be connected with this group of scholars and to see the UC Merced Humanities Center, as well as these newer funded projects, kind of expand out into an area that has just gone understudied and underfunded. So the Merced community is eager to be a part of UC Merced as well. So thank you again.
Great, thank you so much. Yana, I'll let you go. And then Amanda, if you wanted to say some words too, you can, but it's optional. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. It is incredibly exciting to be here and to hear about all of these amazing resources across the UC campuses. I am a graduate student myself at UC Berkeley, and I am one of the co-directors of Beyond Academia. Beyond Academia is a nonprofit organization run by Berkeley grad students and postdocs with the goal of empowering graduate students and postdocs to expand their career options beyond the traditional academic track. And it accomplishes this through a series of events, which includes our annual conference, workshops, tutorials, and panels that connect academics to those who have already made that transition into non-academic jobs. Beyond Academia isn't humanities specific, but it's split evenly between the two, and all of our, by the two, I should say, I mean STEM and the humanities. All of our events, or almost all of our events, are public facing. So these are things that all of you can attend. I put the link to our website on that Google Doc. I'll also share it below. So in terms of the events that might be of the most interest, the first is our speakers series, which we hold monthly. We oscillate between a humanities representative and a STEM representative every other month. And this is sort of a longer form talk given by somebody, again, who has made that transition outside of the academic sphere. Usually it's a 30-minute presentation followed by a 30-minute Q&A. And this can be really useful if you see somebody on our lineup who has a career that you're interested in, to sort of make those connections, to sort of learn about getting into that specific field. And then our biggest event happens at the last Thursday and Friday of February. So this year it is tentatively scheduled for the 24th and the 25th of February. And this is our Beyond Academia conference. Last year we had 2,100 people come, which was insane. And this is an interdisciplinary conference. This year it is also going to be almost entirely online, so it's free so everyone is free to attend. We have a keynote speaker. Last year, one of our two keynotes was Dr. Karen Kelsey, very famously of The Professor Is In. We have a series of workshops run by professionals in the field, such as how to convert your academic CV into a usable resume. And we have a series of panels, and each panel consists of 4 to 5 experts within a field who come together to discuss their experiences about getting into said field. So some of the panels that might be most relevant for those of us in the humanities include teaching and learning, arts and culture, social justice, university beyond the classroom, etc., media and communications. I'm also lobbying for, either as part of media communications or as a separate panel, to have a publishing panel as well, because I know for literature PhDs, that's often where people want to go. So it's I've found that it's a really amazing community of people who are just eager to explore options, eager to share their experiences. I really want to encourage you all to come. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting me today.
Thanks so much. Amanda, did you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I'm really happy now that we have Sujit here, whose whole job is to be focused on graduate student programming. But we have been doing a lot of graduate student support through the UC Irvine Humanities Center for the past 7 years. And that takes a variety of forms, both very practical in terms of workshops and also supporting graduate students in gaining experience through taking the LARB program in the summer. We have a Humanities Out There Public Fellows program that provides graduate student internships, either with local, primarily cultural organizations, but also within higher education administration. So with units on campus where they can bring their Humanities PhD training to bear on projects over the summer. We also have as I said, the workshops range from public speaking workshops to thinking about values, thinking about learning how to write grant proposals. We try to do things that are across disciplines and across post-PhD career paths. That's part of graduate students, and also to provide a space and a community for graduate students to talk about what they want to do after they complete their PhD, and to find that community beyond their departments to engage in those kind of conversations. And I used to do a lot of that work, and now Sujeen does that work. So we're very glad to have her. She's we have currently have a Mellon Foundation grant that is focused on supporting our Public Fellows grant, and also primarily that funding supports something that we call the cross-disciplinary embedded GSRs. I think it's what we call graduate student researchers. So we place graduate students in the humanities in graduate student researcher positions with faculty who are not in the humanities, so that they spend a year working on some kind of project that is related to their intellectual interest, and expands their capacity to work in interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary contexts and teams. So we have, for example, this year, a philosophy student is going to be working with a nursing professor. We have an English student working with a bioengineering professor. We have we've had an English student working with with some faculty in physical sciences on a climate change initiative. So these are really great opportunities for students to expand how they think about the role of the humanities, both in terms of academic research, but also in these how often these are applied STEM opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so, I don't know, heartening to hear just the variety of opportunities. I mean, I see resonances, but it's also interesting to see how different institutions are taking up, you know, sort of this question in different ways and in creative ways. So we have just maybe a few minutes for a Q&A. I know that Esther had asked a question about whether or not the workshops were available for any UC grad student. And I don't know if that's a live question, given that a lot of this is on Zoom now, but maybe if people have thoughts about that, or maybe that's something that we can further discuss, you know, have further conversation around. I'd be interested in hearing.
I can say at UC Santa Cruz, our PhD Plus workshop series, we do open to any faculty, staff, and students across the UC system. There's some of the workshops that we co-sponsor with graduate division that are only UC Santa Cruz students, but we note it always on the event page. But a lot of the workshops are open to everyone across the UC system. And I think it'd be great to explore collaborative workshops, or, you know, do more, especially when these workshops are online, in which students from our campuses could attend workshops on other campuses. I think that's exciting silver lining, at least, of this virtual world.
Yeah, thanks. Utidafon, you had a question?
Yes, it aligns with Esther's question about access to these courses and classes, because they sound like fantastic opportunities. I was just noting them down, but I'm wondering, like the UCLA Graduate Career Service And then the Digital Humanities Workshop, is that something that any other UC students can register for? And then I also wanted to ask about the, one of the last presenters, I think it was Yana, about it. She mentioned the, what's it called? Beyond Academia program. And it sounded very interesting. So I tried to register right away, but I'm told, no, you cannot, you do not have permission. So I'm wondering whether there are ways of showing or getting information across about what is available to who and how, and that will be very helpful. So then it will help us know what options we have. Thank you.
I could take part of that. This is Erin. I can say that right now our graduate career services at UCLA are only for registered master's PhDs and postdocs at UCLA. However, there is a new movement underway. We just launched a UC graduate coaching collaborative. So every program at every UC has a graduate career services of a kind. They may have slightly different titles, but they don't necessarily have the exact same title. And all of us, I think, Veronica, you would agree, all of us are doing one-on-ones with our PhDs. All of us are doing some degree of programming. What will be nice is that if we can really get this off the ground, we're hoping to share some of our online programming across campuses. So if I'm doing a workshop at UCLA, you may be able to log into it, to register for it on Handshake and log into it from your campus. So that's something we don't have right now, but we're hoping to have in the future.
Great, thank you so much. Laura, you had a question?
I do. Thanks, Shujeen, and thanks for everyone who's been here having this conversation. For specific classes, right? I was most struck by Santa Barbara Erin's description of a formal course on a range of skills to translate what you're doing into, beyond academic settings. That's something we're thinking about, specifically in the history department at UCI. But there's a lot of wheels here. I don't think we need to keep reinventing. And there's a reason to have some things that are department specific and some things that are campus specific. But Erin, the class you talked about, the UCLA Digital Humanities Certificate Program, seems like that might be another option, right? As it is, all UC grad students can apply for and kind of bureaucratically or routinely get permission to take classes at other campuses. There's a system already set up for those things to transfer if they are transcript kind of classes. And in a Zoom world, it seems like this is something we should really be thinking harder about. Where there are formal classes, what does it mean to open them up to students from other campuses? If that's not possible, what does it mean to kind of spin them off, create clones? This starts to get into complicated workload issues, and we're not here to solve those problems, but I don't have all of the skill set that Erin has to teach her Santa Barbara class. Could I find someone at Irvine who does? What does that mean for other campuses? How do we replicate what we're doing well without exploiting ourselves and working ourselves into the ground? So I don't expect an answer. I just wanted to toss that out. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's a great question that we can continue to have a conversation around. And if people are willing and interested in doing that, we can try to figure out ways that we can continue, answering some of the questions that have been raised today. And yeah, so I don't know, I just really appreciate hearing from all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I want to be mindful of your time, but I will be reaching out with the feedback form and ways, try to figure out ways that we can all stay in conversation with each other. So thank you so much for being here, and enjoy the weekend, get some rest, get away from the computer. So take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.